Minutes from the last meeting.
Michael Curso moves.
Second.
Michael Silver, District 5, seconds.
All right. Motion is approved for last minutes from the following the meeting. Are there any announcements at this time?
Not at this time.
All right. I now call on Adjutant Daniel Contreras, National 3rd Junior Vice Commander, PSC, to review membership status.
All right. I think first it's important to note that when we look at our membership standing, this is as of the middle of December. In the division, California has met 96.71% of our goal. However, in Division 1, our paid member population for California is at 70,732. Our goal, of course, is 73,136. And essentially that's a percentage of the population of eligible veterans in the state of California, not so much anymore on our unpaid life members. That change is really hit home when it comes to, if you look at us, we're almost at the bottom of our division when it comes to our membership standing in Division 1. So we're still in the learning curve, I think, regarding that. And of course, there's the pandemic going on, which makes it tough to recruit. But we're hoping that some of the incentives that we have going on, like our 1% initiative that's happening, we are, as a department, contacting eligible members throughout the state of California and sending them information not only about DAV and our membership, but also trying to connect them with their specific chapters. And that way, it's a win-win, not only for increasing our membership numbers, meeting quotas, but also connecting chapters with eligible members in their communities. And this is a work in progress. So if anybody, and this is where this meeting is really relevant to a think tank concept of how can we do better in connecting with members or potential members, because when you look at California, we have 1.7 million veterans, and our initiative of 1% of that would just blow out any kind of goal variance that we have. So we're going to do things in the department to start to sample different types of literature that goes out. National, of course, is supporting us, and we actually have a pending meeting with the director of membership, Doug Wells, to discuss how we can partner with that. There's a lot of it is reinventing the wheel, because National has literature and just as far as tools and resources that can help us or chapters this initiative. So the current chapter membership recruitment incentive, within the department, we used to have banners or streamers that go on chapter flags, but a lot of chapters don't have flags. So we went to the coin initiative, and we had a really beautiful coin produced for our membership recruitment incentive this past time, and we did pass those out to those membership or the chapters that accomplished that, or was a commander's club award. So we continue with that incentive, and that's something that we'll talk about. Is that a good incentive? Is that something that is still better than a streamer. And it's just part of the membership recruitment. So on a national level, if you recruit between 5 and 9 members, you get a bronze star, silver stars, 10, 24, gold star, 25, 49. The plaque is at the 50 or 99, and then you'll get a crystal paperweight at 100 or more. And of course, whatever national does at the national convention, typically they have like a drawing for the top recruiters at 100 members or more. You could win like an iPad or something like that. But just remember to pass on to that DAV is open to all veterans, because in order to be eligible, you have to be injured, gassed, wounded, or diseased in a war time period, or service connected under simulating war. So sometimes, even though somebody did not meet the criteria within that wartime period, they could have been training under simulated war conditions, and that's when they sustained their injury, and that would be something. So just always remember that we're more of an organization of inclusion rather than exclusion. And so when we can find a way to qualify them as a member, then I think that that's more of where our organization should be looking. The life membership now is $300 straight across the board. If you're 80 or older, it's free. So those recruitments are still something that we want to think about, and that's why that $10 start, and then having that recurrent credit card payment. So after the minimum down payment of $40 towards a life members, this is like if you don't do it via app or through online, then of course you're gonna have to pay the $40. But if you do it with the encouraged to apply online for as little as $10 with the recurrent monthly payment, that's the way to really go. And so if you've ever been asked, and this is something that came up as a question, but sometimes people get upset with our organization and they want their money back. So in our organization, it's non-refundable. You can't get it back, and it's actually in our organization's bylaws. So we have an initiative in California. So currently, if an NSO or DSO signs up a new member, and they do it through the the app or through the online process, then there is a way that the NSOs or the DSOs can go ahead and provide the individual with information that they can get reimbursed that $10. And this way, we connect that individual with our database and with the database of the chapter that's nearby as well. So there's a process it's kind of a paper trail that we help initiate the connection between the chapter and the individual through that recruitment of the DSO or the NSO. But yeah, so I mean, that's essentially it. The biggest thing is the other question that comes about, and I'm sure you hear it all the time, is does it have to be through VA? Do you have to have a service connection through VA? No, it basically is that if you were gas wounded, injured, diseased during a wartime period or in the simulated war, then you can be a member. We've actually had leadership that was not service connected through VA, but was certainly met the criteria. So that makes things wide open for someone who's interested in joining our organization, and and we can go ahead and on their acknowledgement of meeting that criteria, it doesn't have to be VA. They don't have to show you a service-connected document that they, fulfill that criteria. So, any additional comments regarding eligibility? Chairman Mosley, I'm back at you.
Wow. Dan, that's always a pleasure. You go over the basics of what membership is about. This is a good opportunity to clarify anything out there to the general public. This is Dan, so this is the final answer when it comes to membership. If you do have a question, just type them, and I'm sure he'll get back to you. But we have a lot going on with membership right now, and if it's all right, I'd like Robert to kind of fill us in on what's going on with the welcome home packet that he's been working on with members of our leadership team. Robert, are you available? Robert?
Okay, how you doing, Senior Vice?
Good, good. I didn't feel like the welcome home package were really mentioned too much through Dan's report, and I was wondering if you could expand a little bit.
Okay, so I'm sitting here sharing a computer right now, sorry. So the welcome home package is essentially, as an organization, we've been looking at what happens if COVID had taken our high-risk membership, right? So high risk being 60 and above, and so we were asked to look at the numbers that if we had lost our high risk, what would happen? And long story short, we would have lost 80% of our membership. So we started to look at how do we increase the production and change the culture where people would want to come in. So we all decided that start at the very beginning, right? Once you become a member, let the members know what it is DAV California is about and how they can get involved. So there's a 3-step process, and it involves both chapters and department. And the chapters get a membership list sent to them that we get directly from DAV National. That membership list is based off of the newest veterans that have registered through the VA. Once that list comes to us, we send it out to the chapters immediately, and the chapters have a am I spotlighted? Sorry. Yeah, I think Joe's spotlighted. The chapters have a welcome home. Basically, hey, come to our chapter. This is what we're about. We would love if you looked into membership. Kind of, that's the feeling of the first letter. Once the new members sign on and we get the new membership list from DAV, then department does a welcome home package that essentially, I wish I had one right now, but everybody will get a folder, and in the folder, there's a letter that says, welcome home to DAV. This is what we're about. Claims, services, transportation, and legislation. That's what our bread and butter is, and we hope that you get involved. Also on the second page, this is how you can get involved. You can be a chapter service officer training, chapter service officer. We have DSO spots. We have transportation coordinators and volunteers, right? We need people in the community to do legislation. By the way, here is your closest chapter and information how to get involved with the chapter. Then we send a letter and email to the chapters and say, hey, by the way, chapter 73, you have 4 new members. Can you please connect with them? And so that's what the department's doing for the welcome home packages with the folder that has Jesse Brown information. It's got LVAP information. It's got workshops, all the workshops information for getting employment, all that stuff. So they get everything right off the bat, right when they become a member. And then we hope that we all engage and get them in right away, so they're not 4 years down the line saying, what is this DAV stuff that we paid for? So I appreciate you giving me the time to talk about it, Senior Vice. and hopefully I didn't take too much time. If there's any questions about it, let me know on the back end, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. Go Pack, go.
Just write them a message. That is Robert, who is in charge of the welcome home packets. So if you have any questions, you can write them directly. And this is important because these guys have been working on this for a long time, and it's a great project. They got the mission in hand, and they're seeing how we can actually be more productive in the year to come. So ask them questions. That's what's nice about this forum is anything that comes up, you can just send them a little side message and they'll get back to you. At this time, I'm looking at asking the DAVA commander to address the committee.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Commander McCurr, Senior Vice Commander Joseph Mosley, Junior Vice Commander Nancy Casey, and Adjutant CEO, National 3rd Junior Vice Commander, and past State Commander Dan Contreras, for having me to speak to the DAV membership. I hope everyone and their families are doing well. Because of these trying times with the COVID-19 pandemic, it has made it difficult for us to gather together. This has been a major problem for our chapters and auxiliary units to function as usual. Membership is a concern. Keep your membership informed, state and national news. Mail out copies of the newsletter to your members. We don't want to lose members for lack of interest. We have members in our own chapter and units that we call every month. This is how they're doing. And if they have any concerns, we the members want to be acknowledged and not forgotten. Virtual meetings are an option, but if your chapter or unit need to meet in person, please remember social distancing and wear your mask. Hopefully in the near future, our chapters and auxiliary units can meet again. The VA hospitals and veteran homes are asking for help. Volunteer services at the VA hospitals are requesting blankets, cots, tents, water for our homeless veterans. Please contact your local VA hospital volunteer service office and see what you can do to help. There are still ways to help our veterans and their families. If you and your chapters are helping our veterans, thank you and continue the great work that you are doing. Reach out to your own chapter and auxiliary members and see what you can do to help them. Sometimes a simple phone call can brighten someone's day. Let's continue to strive to help our veterans and their families. I want to thank you for your time and enjoy the conference. Please stay safe and healthy. Back to you,
Okay.
Joseph Mosley.
So yes, we're obviously adjusting to the pandemic. But as Robert and some of the staff has always been talking about, social media seems to be the most convenient way that we can still talk to one another while respecting social distancing and just not meeting in person. So, you know, we're asking everyone to actually just start an interest, indulge. You know, this is a kind of a game for a lot of us that we're just learning to begin on how to advertise our local chapter by just doing the simplest thing and typing a message in on the computer or liking someone else's page. It's important that we start doing this because that is the way to increase exposure and have develop more interest with the younger generation. So with this in mind, we've always talked about it, but sometimes it's good to hear of a chapter that's actually doing it. In San Bernardino, chapter 12, we have the commander, Jose Mendoza, who's been working nonstop to develop this social media, Facebook recognition. that's actually helped him increase membership. And he's actually one of our #1 recruiters for new members. And he runs a garden, and he has a veterans kind of like warehouse that he runs out in San Bernardino. Is Jose there? Jose
Yes, I'm
Mendoza?
online. Yes, I'm online. How are you doing?
Good, Jose. Joe Mosley, Senior Vice. I was asking you to kind of explain what's going on in your chapter. How do you still be health conscious of the pandemic, but still involve yourself with the community and using social media to kind of boost all this for what's going on in your area?
Hey, thank you, Joe Mosley. I'd like to say thank you to Commander Kerr, Dan Contreras, Robert Graves, and Joseph Mosley. Thank you for the invite. I do appreciate this. Here at the DAV Chapter 12, we have a beautiful garden. We have a lot more access than a lot of other people do, and so we develop new programs here, inviting the younger veterans, such as drones, spiritual group, working dogs for warriors, and it was really opening the doors more than just 1 day a month, 2 days a week. We have been opening them about 4 days a week now, and we've switched over since the pandemic happened. And we went away from our traditional, having our traditional classes open, and we transitioned into food programs. And so what we've been doing is helping our community and our veterans with different food supplies during this pandemic. A lot of people have been out of jobs, out of work. And so the food is really helping our veterans. We've just tried to tap into different areas that there's a need for. And that's really been helping us out. We don't go reach out for membership. They just see what we're doing with our community and they want to get involved. And that's been a positive experience for our chapter. I'm going to hit once again what Joseph Mosley said is social media has been very, very, very powerful. We post a lot what we do, and we get a lot of shares from the Loma Linda VA, from the San Bernardino Vet Center, and they're using us as a resource now. And what we've been doing is reaching out to the American Legion, reaching out to the VFW. We're not afraid to work with other organizations, and it's been very powerful. This year, we were able to give out 160 turkeys during the holiday season. We've just been able to help our veterans in a different way besides pen and paper and service officer. Don't get me wrong, we still have our service officer events. We put quarterly events on. And what we did is we went down to Home Depot and we bought these partitions that were very simple, very easy. I'll show you a set right here. And it keeps our service officers safe from, I guess, the bacteria is coming across the screen. So just little tips and tricks like that have really helped our chapter push forward. And we've had a great, great, great membership. So we have our legacy veterans, which are, it's our sobriety group. They've been together for over 30 years. We have our spiritual group, which is Brian Robbins. He runs it every morning. We also have our chef right here, Alonzo. And we just put on different things for the guys, and that's our chapter. Thank you, Joe.
Okay. A few things. So obviously you're reaching out in the community to kind of bring in membership and to, I guess, expose what the Veteran Center does and what the garden does. Is that right, Jose?
So what happened is Robert Graves asked a great question at the beginning of the year. And he says, what is this $300 getting for our veterans? And it was something that I took to heart. It was something that I had to figure out. Why do my veterans want to come to my chapter? What is going to keep them coming back? And so I had to figure out what is the need. And I just went after the need. And there's different needs for different veterans. And so we have a lot of different things that we offer here. And we put the offerings on paper, pen. We have calendars now to let them know what we have. And we share this on social media. We reach out to our local councilmen and they share our stuff. So yeah, social media has been very, 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 very powerful.
Okay. Well, hey, thank you, Jose. I think that was good. Are you available if anyone wants to, well, in a sense, do you have a web address you want to advertise?
So that is very awesome. I just started an Instagram account yesterday. I've never done Instagram in my life. One of our younger veterans helped me out with that yesterday. And so you're going to see a now DAV Instagram page come out, and she's going to be helping me out with our new web page coming out. That's the great part about having our older veterans and younger veterans here. Some of the stuff that I don't know myself, I can reach out to the different people, and I have help on my team now. And so you'll see a web page coming out real soon. We developed a Google page, so that that gives our directions. It gives the location, times, operation dates, and any special events that we have. we also put our t-shirts and challenge coins on there. So it's a way for the public to see what we do. A lot of times when the public Google's DAV, they just see a bunch of guys in a meeting. Now I'm able to show what I want, to show what we want. So we're able to put the pictures that we want on Google, and we can convey our message to the world. And that's where we're going right now.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Jose, and thanks for everything you do over there in San Bernardino.
Hey, thank you.
So to go back over, we're trying to embrace social media. There is a welcome home packet that Robert Graves is in charge of. It's a well thought out packet with a lot of information on how to get new members excited, motivated, and participating in what we do. We understand that, with the nature of the pandemic, everyone needs to adjust. And sometimes not doing as much is the most important thing, and sometimes you're able to do more in certain areas. You know your chapter, and that's always the bottom line, is you know your chapter better than anybody else. But we have this information, we have success stories, we have ways that you can reach out to new members to develop that interest, to do things from home that I hope you're willing to pay attention to. Like I said, Daniel Contreras, great information for anything technical when it comes to membership. What is a member? What is not a member? Robert Graves is the go-to guy for the welcome home packet. And then lastly, Jose Mendoza for just tips and encouragement. What works and what doesn't. You can stay safe, and you can still be advertising DAV. A lot of it just comes down to the willingness to take a selfie and show the world what you are actually doing to help veterans. So don't be afraid to actually write a few sentences, saying that you're doing good things, because that's in the end what it's all about anyway. You're just letting other people witness it. And little by little, we develop a very good, strong veteran network that's well connected, that's well informed. And we have tools at headquarters to help you guys out in doing this. Lastly, I'd like to open it up to the floor if there's any comments or things that would like to be added.
Hey, Joe, let's
At this time, just unmute your
let's
mic.
go ahead and. Hey, Joe, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. So specifically, one of the things that we have is our other panel members, and so we heard from Joe. So let's hear from Leroy about and guys, please kind of just narrow down your comments, and of course, you're always available. I know you guys are just really stalwart DAV members and also just passionate about what you do. But and I'm saying this because I know Leroy likes just to ramble. No, I'm kidding, Leroy. But hey, Leroy, are you on still?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Can you talk about the NSO world when it comes to recruitment, and how that's a valuable part of it, and how we as the fraternal side can work in unison with the professional side of DAV in getting more members in our organization.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I think one of the biggest things that we do, obviously, we have contact with veterans on a daily basis, helping them with their claims and to access the benefits that they're eligible for. But one thing we do, we always ask people, we have the opportunity to ask them and talk about DAV membership, perhaps ask, are you a DAV member? Are you receiving the magazine? And that just opens up a conversation where we can share who we are and what we do, whether it's legislation, outreach, service, the fraternal side of our organization, volunteerism, so on and so forth. Of course, I don't like to use the excuse of the pandemic, but I'm glad that we're in a position where we can actually shine and we can leverage social media in access and reach out to people. When I got back into town, I believe I sent a blanket email to everybody, in the area, just saying, hey, I'm here, let's do some information seminars or do whatever. And I noticed Chapter 12 online. So I actually reached out. I went to Chapter 12. I visited their facility, took part in some of their activities that they had going on there on a Thursday, I believe. And we even did a Facebook Live there, which is good. And so as far as membership is concerned, you know, we only have so many hours in the day, and we only can do so much because I know, especially on the professional side of the house, we have a lot of work going on. We have things that we have to do, but part of that, of course, is our outreach and stuff. And I know that each of the supervisors within the DAV within California, the DAV Department of California, and all of our supervisors or NSO supervisors, I know that they're actively involved in their chapters and their departments and stuff in, you know, talking to chapter members and educating them about who we are and what we do and stuff. One other thing I'll end with is it's always a good idea if you do have a Facebook page, if you do have Instagram, if you do have Twitter, it's a good idea to, you know, on a daily basis, just check and see what DAV national organization has posted and just share that. That's all. Just share. You don't have to do much. It's always good to put a one-liner in there or something like that, you know, extending our mission of hope into the communities where veterans and their families live, you know, something quick. But that way it just kind of gets our brand out there and stuff. And in doing that, you know, we share it with the DAV Department of California as well. And we have our branding with the department as well. We're happy to do that. Matter of fact, the only thing I need is I just need to know the Instagram account for Chapter 12, because I'd like to follow them. Other than that, it's just active participation. We're always moving, always changing. We're always flexible. We're always asking people, and we DAV is a place where people want to join and they want to participate. They want to help other veterans, and that's the kind of environment that we're building. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the person that taught me that is Jim Gallagher, and he's got a little assistant there. I forget his name. Oh, Guy Anastasia. They've really helped me, brought me into the fold and stuff, and really helped me to understand that and see the big picture. So I'd just like to take my hat off to them, say thank you, and once again, shout out to Chapter 12 and stuff for the stuff that they're doing. Matter of fact, we're doing something next week, but that's off topic. I'll go ahead and shut up now.
Well, no, Leroy, you know, it's one of the things that I've seen in my 20 years with the organization is that partnership with the National Service Officers and the department is so critical to not only the harmony, but also just the synergy that's necessary to take care of veterans from, you know, from the scale of understanding and expertise and institutional knowledge that the NSO offices have to help us to help veterans to the extreme need of you know, appeal cases and ancillary benefits and different things like that. So we're very proud of what our California supervisors do, and all of the NSOs in your offices are so invested into the fraternal organizations or a part of their chapter. So, you know, that's part of it. And you, a past state commander, you know, lead by that example, as well as, you know, the guy that you talked about who also works in San Diego, Guy, you know, a past state commander, our judge advocate. That's, you know, all of our NSOs, we really appreciate your support and your passion and your participation, especially on a day like today. But, you know, that changes us to our role of our department service officers. Once again, someone who's so proactive in their participation, not only in the chapter, but volunteered and was a volunteer before he became a department service officer. And that's Michael Silver. And we asked for him to be a part of this today because, you know, he works in Jim Bogan territory up there. And so you got to have your ducks in a row if you're supporting the community in there. And Mike, you do such a great job. And like I said, even, you know, when we were looking at what we had to do with the department, you know, you continue to work even through, you know, some of the trials that we went through in our, you know, our furloughs and things like that. So Mike, please, anything that you can contribute that on a department service level or a chapter service officer level that is instrumental in membership recruitment for your experience?
Well, the biggest thing I've done is I noticed we use the internet, but I use myself as a bulletin board. I'm always wearing DAV shirts, hats, and people I go they go, what does that mean? And so that opens the door for me to communicate with them. And when I sit down, I talk about all the different resources we have, what you can do if you want to be an active member or non-active member. And then I also throw in the auxiliary too, so that way they can bring in their wives. And the funny part, I mean, it's not funny, but when I was laid up in the hospital, I got 2 more memberships from the doctors. I just, just laying in bed, you got to talk, you got to just keep on talking, and it's communicating. But the thing is making that communication with that person at that time. We all come from different ways of life. And so I kind of look at that when we're talking to them. We all know how we feel, especially if our injuries or illnesses we received from the military. So I take that personally, but and then also as a DSO, I mean, I got another out where I'm actually doing their claims, and that's another resource for me to outreach to them, especially if they get their 100%. And I go, now I got something else special for you. Join our organization. What does it do? What we could do for you? Excuse my voice, I'm still recovering here. But that's the basic ways I live by, and I try to get as much membership and get people involved in there. Oh, there's one more thing. Robert, about a couple months ago, challenged a lot of us DSOs to go out of our comfort zone. And what I mean by that is, if I'm walking down the street and I see a person wearing a military hat, I'll come up and introduce myself. I'll go, do you have your benefits? Do you know what it is? And so that gives me another way of communicating with them. So a lot of times you just take a look around, people are proud to wear the military hats, but now it's time. And during this pandemic, it's been good and bad. And what I mean by good and bad because of the pandemic, but good because we're getting more members, because they're now looking for their service connections and stuff like that. And they can really see the DAV side. And those DAV commercials, Dan, are wonderful. I watch them on TV all the time. But that's about all I got for today.
Well, no, thank you. No, I thought it was important that we not only recognize what our NSOs and Department Service Officers are doing there, Mr. Chairman, but hear from our panel members. So thank you, Joe. You're doing a great job. I want to ask you to wrap this up soon, so we have a little bit of a break before our next meeting. But the floor is back to you.
The next scheduled meeting of the DAV Department of California Membership Committee will be announced at a later date. I now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Curso moves.
Michael Silver, District 5, so seconds.
All right, motion granted for adjournment of the meeting.
So we have claims and services at 10. Everybody take a break, go grab that cup of coffee, and don't worry about taking a shower because we can't smell you. So